Whoa, get it! Yeah, you got it! Be up there, baby! Oh, ball! Booyah! Oh, bam! Woo! Yeah! Balls in your face again, Christian?
Oh, he's had balls in his face before.
Kaiju. Woo! Yeah, watch out! Yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kaijus and Marginal of Mr. Guillermo Del Toro's Pacific Rim! He has made a very long journey all the way from the Pacific Rim himself. On this very stage tonight, you will see the man himself speaking. Mr. Guillermo Del Toro.
Yeah! Oh, better! Oh, God!
Thank God you. Who do we have to thank for tonight? What are we saying? Thank you to Neon.
Boom!
Who up there for that? The poor giant Kaiju saying, I'm not up for the move for the show today.
Did you stop?
I didn't hear that. Oh, we should thank American Cinematheque members, volunteers, and staff. Thank you so much.
We like to create a shirt every year that we like to give people. Give people in terrible English.
Yeah.
So this year, as modeled by our giant kaiju here, this is the great William Friedkin.
Yeah.
Accompanying the great William Friedkin is one of his all-time greatest quotes, which is, "I don't give a flying fuck into a rolling donut." So, you too can be the proud owner of one of these shirts. All you have to do is scream.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
It is not just his films that give us joy, but it is his trips to Disneyland.
Yeah! Jump! Ready? Jump! 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 Oh! Hey, wait! Damn! Wait there! Oh! They're going too far back. We're too close. We're too close.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah! Woo! Yo!
Travis, you come in. Ladies and gentlemen, the writer, co-writer. My God. So, Guillermo, the first time that I met you, and you won't remember this, but it was AFI Fest 2007. I bumped into you. I was late for the screening of the toilet. It was not. It was the whole way for Pacific. We were entering the auditorium. I was desperately late for Pacific, for Pan's Labyrinth. And I bumped into you.
You were early for that.
Yes. Yeah, and I bumped into you, and I was like, fan. Thank you for everything you do. I have ducked out of work to come and see your film, and I'm going to get into a lot of trouble. And you said, fuck work, watch movies. My boss is actually here tonight.
Fuck you, man.
So tell me, 10 years later, what is it like to revisit Pacific Rim?
I fucking love this movie.
Yeah!
Travis and I met many years before Pacific Rim on Killing on Carnival Row, which we had. And we tried to do it for more than a decade and a half.
Yeah.
And really, when Thomas Stoll sent me Travis's original treatment, which was how many pages was it?
It was like 10.
Yeah, but it had the robots, the monsters, and the drifting. And I said, I'm doing this. I don't do this. It was like the best possible recipe for me. I adored it, and I wanted to do it. And it's great that the movie hasn't done the way it has. I think it's a kick-ass movie when we were launching it. Unfortunately, Legendary and Warner Brothers were divorcing. So basically, the launching of this movie was Kramer versus Kramer. We were the orphan child. So, it was launched in the middle of the acrimonious separation and all that, and still the movie managed to find an audience and endure, and here we are.
Well, I mean, I can say that.
And Brad was criticizing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Brad told the story or not, but I was with Brad when he was doing Iron Giant.
It's the same situation.
And he was, we couldn't believe it, and I called him the weekend it opened, and I said, don't worry, your movie will be a classic. And we'll be talking about it for the rest of the world.
So that because what happened earlier today with Brad was a carbon copy of what happened here tonight. From the moment this is, I mean, Taylor Swift has got nothing on this film. It was raw, because this thing was a blazing rock concert, and every beat in this film hit so hard. So it's really endured. Why do you think it has sustained and endured so well?
Well, first of all, when we were planning it, I think I wanted it to be really rhythmically not stop and have really. I always thought about a sports movie. I thought about Hoosiers and Top Gun. But Hoosiers has almost an identical scene. Then Hagen comes back and says, "What have you been doing?" No, it doesn't help a lot. And it's a retired coach coming back to teach slap shot, whatever you want. It's really an old sports analogy. And I thought, I want this movie to connect with the audience so hard. And we were doing it, we did it for a lot of money, but a lot less than movies this size normally cost, about 40% less. And we had to be very ingenious. And it's one of those movies that tested amazing. Amazing when we're testing it with an audience.
Was this a test audience?
Two movies I have seen tests like that. Blade 2, when we tested
Woo! Yeah!
we were ripping the fucking seats off. And this one, and I think is in the most beautiful way a movie that to me is very personal, because for me what I was attracted to was this idea that inside a giant robot there is two people that need to trust each other, and inside one of them is a hurt little child, and that robot is controlled by the emotions of that child, which is basically my life story. I am a giant creature controlled by a very hurt child. And I did the movie for Michael Moore. I mean, that's the character I was most attracted to.
Yeah, because themes The themes are in
And he
there.
has such great knack for names. This fucking guy told me, George Lucas and Travis have a knack for names. Either you have it or you don't.
Yeah, I mean, the enduring themes, it's about connectivity, it's about...
It's about all we fucking have is each other.
Yeah.
And we live in a world more now than ever that actually sells us a horrible illusion that we are not the same. And we are. We are all the same. And we all belong together. And many of my movies deal with that. But ultimately, I wanted a movie not about... I said several things to the judge. I said, this is not a movie about one fucking country winning the war. I don't want that. I want the world winning the war. I want every race, every possibility represented in the movie. And I want them to not have all shiny, strong war machines. I want them to have fucked up old jalopies. I don't want a movie about an army. I want a movie about the resistance. And those were things that are important to me. And I said, and I want a movie about a man and a woman that become friends. That don't have to fucking kiss at the end. That learn to trust each other, and at the end they are together at sea, you know? So all those things are important. It's a counter. When I did Crimson Peak, I wanted to do an anti-romantic romance movie. And when I did this movie, I said, let me try, and I could take your big, but I did an this type of movie.
Yeah, because there isn't any of the...
Like the marginal heroes.
Yeah.
To me, the reason I was able to do Blade is because Blade's a fucking freak. And Hellboy's a freak, and Lady are free. And these guys are all people that are not in the program, nobody trusts them, and they have to come together. It's a ragtag band of people having to come together to do that. I don't like triumphant movies. I don't like them. I don't like success. I don't like any of that stuff. I just don't understand it.
I mean, if anything, well, I mean, like, it runs through your filmography, right? I mean, if you think about Hellboy, it's a total outcast in the way that it's treated. You know, Shape of Water, honestly. But the line that kind of crystallizes, and this is why I draw the reference to Independence Day, everything you're talking about, and this place went bananas.
I think we should. I wish that Gary could re-release. We saw it two days ago in IMAX 3D. Ow! I can tell you that if you haven't seen it on IMAX 3D, I swear to God, I'm not trying to sell you a ticket, but you haven't seen it. IMAX 3D is like all that marijuana that you have to pay for. There are a couple of rooms and drums. I'm not a guy that gets high. I don't except on Twinkies, man. I don't have any license for collecting shit, movies and books. And desserts.
Speaking of collecting shit, do you know about the cards? There's Patrick. Coming up. He's got a full collector's pack of cards for you. So he's going to direct her every single day. He's a maniac, by the way. There's a Patrick Hood, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome.
Watch on eBay tomorrow.
Shit that's outside that we're getting stuff signed. I mean, come on, guys. So the influences in this film, both of you working together. This goes all the way back, right? I mean, this is Jerry Anderson. This is Thunderbirds. This is Heavy Metal.
This is a very good opportunity to ask Travis because I constantly get asked about a movie I have yet, a series, movies I am yet to watch. Because every time I'm going to sit down and watch it, a new one fucking comes out. Evangelion. And I've never watched it where people say, oh, Evangelion.
It's good. It's really good.
But, I don't know what I'm saying. You saw it.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely.
Then from now on, I'll say driver's license.
Yeah, absolutely. That was like, the first movie I think that I have a conscious memory of seeing was probably a Godzilla movie. And so, I mean, this was an obsession. I could not believe that when we got made that nobody had done like a modern, like, you know, giant monster film.
Well, giant robots and monsters haven't been done.
Yeah.
Really, which is on live action, which is absolutely absurd. Right?
It was waiting for you. That's
Well,
the
yeah,
best
it was waiting for us, and for me it was Pat Labor. Pat Labor was a big deal for me because they treated the robots like machines. And I really like the utilitarian. There's a thing the Japanese do, which is wabi-sabi, you know, which is the beauty of the imperfect, the impermanent, and the damaged.
Yeah.
And you know, you see it in Star Wars, you see it in Blade Runner, meaning the future or the tech needs to be damaged to be real. And I coined a term for this design for the movie called Gothic, which is Gothic but tech.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, let's make everything really rusted, damaged, old, clunky, analog, as much as we can. That's why I insisted on the sort of connection.
There's no hydraulics, like the motion when they're in the
You
suit.
needed to transcend.
Yeah, it's almost like RoboCop in that kind of.
You needed to do that. I needed to have a consequence that was physical.
Yeah.
What I loved that you did, because at the time that this came out, when you had this sort of thing, there was a lot of motion capture. Like you watch Transformers, and it's a lot of motion capture, and you don't have that sense of weight and physicality. And I love that you just said, you know, like, no motion capture on this, like, let's build it so you can see the weight.
And animated.
Yeah.
It's 45 minutes of the movie as an animated movie. That was and it needed to be slow. And that was our biggest fight was we're gonna shoot it correctly. Meaning, how long does it take for that punch to go? How long does it take for this thing to move? I don't want them moving fast like they are 9 feet tall. And the displacement of water, the accumulation of water in the corners of the robots. And I said, I'm gonna do it, and I've seen every Kaiju movie, every series by Suburaya, everything, because I grew up with that. I was born in 64, so by 68 and 69, Ultraman was on TV, and so were every anime. A kid in Japan had the same childhood I had. Mexico bought that shit cheap, and we watched it. But I never, except for very punctual sequences of War of the Gargantuans or here and there, you never saw fights in the night. It was all daylight, and I wanted to do it at night, in the rain. We decided, for example, that we would use the existing light, meaning we would give a light to the robot, and that light would light the Kaiju. We will not light it with movie lights. Let the lights of the city illuminate the fight. Let the light, and if there was no light, it was dark. And then thunder and lightning, and the light of the ship, etc., etc. So when we did all the camera moves, I said, I don't want any impossible fucking moves with the camera. We go, woo! Said,
Yes.
Tell me where it's mounted.
Mm-hmm.
On a helicopter, then it's gonna miss a few things because the helicopter cannot move that fast. We mount it on a boat. It's gonna move when the robots move. You know, we're gonna break the water line constantly, go under and out. So we wanted to make it, fill it with imperfections, so it felt real.
And as you're mapping this out, because to bring this to life, from the moment you signed on with Legendary, it was about a year's worth of process, right, of writing the script. As you're writing the script, you're ultimately constructing the film at the same time, but also surrounding this universe. Everything that you're talking about, you're mapping that in your head at the same time, right?
When you delivered how long was it since?
It was, I don't know, but I definitely remember afterwards I would come to your house, and there were already artists working on it, like Wayne Barlow was back there.
We wrote as we developed. So I have a camp of, I have a thing called the submarine, which is I hire 6 or 7 artists only. but we lived together for 7 months. And we have lunch together, and we talk every morning, and we design the language of the movie before a production designer comes in, before anyone comes in. We present the production designer and cinematographer with a Bible. We say, this is the movie, and now let's go design it again for production. We go into an ideal thing, and we were writing and developing at the same time together.
I love your references. You're thinking about that as you reference Ultraman and then Travis talking about the OG Godzilla. So that was very much man in a suit. You carried that over into this, right? With the Kaiju design, I think in particular, and obviously with Jaegers. That was very intentional, right? You wanted it to feel like...
The design of a Kaiju is very delicate, and I'll tell you, there's also a lot of influence from painting. There's a painting by Goya called The Colossus. Now when I saw that, I said, that's the movie, that's the scale. But when you see the way Tsuburaya designs Kaijus, or great solutions in design like Gamera or Guidon, or in the Ultra universe, you have they can be, their form is their function. It's a knife. Okay, then Gordon is a knife. Then the function is clear. Or Red King, when he comes in and he has a tiny head, is a brute. It's not an intellectual. He's not going to talk to you. He's going to destroy everything. Balkan Segin is a lobster. There's similar things to animals, but they're very different. So we said, okay, the gorilla. We're going to do the gorilla. We're going to do the bat. And we started designing them, but then you have to solve them in a way that they are aesthetically beautiful. They're not ugly. They're real. Kaijus are gorgeous, and I have a massive crush on Kaijus.
Are you the Charlie Day character?
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Charlie Day character?
Charlie is based partially on Jaeger. It's really about the robots had to have a shape that also made each country different. Like the Russian robot looks like an atomic central, it needs to have an utilitarian Russian realism feel.
As the pilots as well. I mean, they're almost like Rocky IV Ivan Drago with the white hair and the coat. I mean, it's right there.
Well, you want that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, definitely. And then thinking about characters that are in the film, they're all hyper-realized. They're almost like archetypes, right? So that was deliberate. Everything is kind of inflated, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think like the characters are they're they're bigger than life in the same way that the Kaiju and the Jaegers are.
It's sort of the Olympics, right? You have a team from the country, and you have to have an idiosyncrasy that you can. I remember when I was a kid, I saw a movie that I adored when I was a kid, and I thought was cool as shit, was rollerball. And the way each team moved was different, The Japanese team would skate sideways, and there was a style of skating and fighting that was, representing all that. And I thought, I want that rollerball thing, where each of the teams has a language. The asymmetry in the helmets of the Russian helmets, the triple arm technique. When we were doing the second movie, which was never done, the screenplay I wrote was not the screenplay that was shot completely. I wrote an entire role for Donnie Yen, because I wanted Donnie Yen to be the star of a giant movie. But it is about that, the synthesis, the plasticity, and the beauty of each of those robots needed to be represented differently. We designed, originally, curiously enough, this is, the Australian robot was Gypsy on the beginning. And then Gypsy was a white robot that we were designing for something else. And then I said, no, I think we should flip them. because the Australian robot looks like a Mustang. It looks like a muscle car. I said, so it has more that attitude. And Gypsy needs to look more like a sort of blue-collar hero, you know? And we went blue with that, and we started, so each of them started changing our movie.
And so as you think about characters and you think about who's managing these robots, the casting as well, you said, back then you said 80% of the film is about casting.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you cast this film? And every time one of the leads came on the screen for that festival, this place just broke out into applause.
Yeah.
Idris, Charlie, like all the way through.
It's people I admire.
Yeah.
It's people I admire. Idris Elba, I was watching The Wire.
Yeah.
This guy's a star. I said, I wonder if he can do a British accent. and we went to meet, Idris and I, we went to meet the head of Legendary in a much earlier incarnation, different movie, a different screenplay, but originally we were going to do the main character's stacker was going to be Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise was there, and I wanted the karaoke scene, and I wanted to have, you know, I thought it could be cool to have Maverick, has-been version of Maverick, trying to come back into a Jaeger level. And then the deal couldn't be made for the most ridiculous reasons. And they said, well, what's your next choice? I said, no, I have not my next choice. My only choice now is Idris Elba. Who's Idris Elba? I said, well, you'll meet him. And I brought him in to meet him, and I said, this is the guy. This is the guy because, and Thomas said, why? I said, because he's a fucking god. Idris Elba to the end of the world. And I think he brings gravitas. Of course, the part was rewritten. It was more of a story of a father, a surrogate father, and a surrogate daughter. You know, that was very moving to me with Michael.
Yeah, he chews up. Like he's just got such presence.
Yeah.
And then the other person who has presence.
And he was never learned his lines. We were talking when we met first. He said, I just want you to know I don't learn my lines. I come in fresh, and as we do some takes, they become mine. But that's why in one of the takes he said, 1, don't touch me. 2, don't touch me. He came up with that.
There was a moment I was watching this time and I caught it. It's right, we're canceling the apocalypse scene, where he says today, and he kind of looks to the side and says today. And I thought, is he trying to remember his
It was a dash. Because when you always have the cancel the apocalypse.
Oh yeah, that was the outline. Yeah.
But the speech, I was writing that speech with Henry V. with the Battle Brothers speech. Yeah. And to honor that line that Travis created, you had to go in a very Shakespearean way, today, you know, like you had to have that repeat. And I said to Idris, you're in the Globe Theater. You're delivering the Band of Brothers.
Yeah. The other piece of casting, the one referenced, the great Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Woo! When you were writing Handle Child, did you have him involved all along? Because he accepted the role without reading the script, and then when he read the script, he didn't think he was going to be Handle Child, right?
Ron is a very special human being. Let me say that there was a moment where I didn't know if he was going to call or not. But I wrote it thinking of him from the beginning. Because I thought it was really, really cool that you hear his name, Animal Child, which is a reference to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then this guy shows up, and he's from Queens. He's a guy that named himself, and I thought Ron could kill him.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I can have Ron in every movie, I will have Ron in every movie.
You have such presence, and you've got such a shorthand together. Do you direct him, or does he direct you? Like, is he just like, get out
No,
the way?
we have always the complete trust.
Yeah.
Like he knows, I write for his voice. So he knows I know what he can do. You know, and I think we never had we have such an, the role is so crafted for him. I know his joke. Are you funny me, son? I can hear it.
Yeah, it's contaminated. You referenced Thomas Holt, who was head of Legendary Film. The signpost in Toll Street.
Yeah,
Is that him? Okay.
I love that guy. This is a guy that came in, said he wanted to do it, and he did.
Yeah.
And this is the only movie in 30 years as a director that started, was said, we're gonna make it, and we're gonna make it. The only time in 30 years.
Wow.
So Legendary also, Godzilla is under their umbrella. Did he say anything? He told you that you couldn't destroy a particular city because that belonged to Godzilla, or?
I actually, one of my favorite places, I go to Little Tokyo for shopping a lot.
Yay!
And I go to Toy Jungle and I bought a giant Godzilla for Hunnam as a gift for Pacific Rim. And he had it in his office. And we talked about what he was planning to do. But he never said this is going to be officially part of the Monsterverse. Although a lot of the quirks that we did on Pacific Rim, I have seen.
Yeah.
Later on, like the neon lights and the rain and the night and all that eventually became part of the Monsterverse, which I like. And I think he's a real fan. You know, what happened in Hong Kong, we scouted Hong Kong for a long, long time, and I mapped everything. The movie is very, very accurate in the signing. A lot of American movies put Chinese signs, and they're badly written. In fact, when I see a movie in Mexico from Hollywood, I say, oh, welcome to Santo Poco. San Angelo. Do things that sound, and we wanted to be very accurate. We photographed all the signing on the streets. We did everything. We produced everything well, and we originally mapped. We were in a boat, and a huge ship with cargo containers went by, and I said, we should use it as a baseball bat.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I mapped the whole fight. The Shatterdome is always on the left. Hong Kong Bay is always on the right. You can watch the whole movie. And if somebody looks to the right, is looking at Hong Kong. If somebody looks to the left, they're looking at the Shatterdome. And the direction was kept like that. But when it came time to destroy the buildings, we found out, they said, in order to destroy a real building from Hong Kong, you have to get approval from the designer, the builder, the owner, all the tenants, and the government. We're not destroying things that don't exist. But so it's not real, but the building's not. And then when he goes over Stonecutter's Bridge, they said you can go over, but you can't destroy it because no Chinese building will go down, even if a robot hits it. You can go over and land on the building.
It's amazing. At the time that the film came out, I have to read off the Scott. You said that this was, you said it was the best creative experience and artistic expression that you had as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Scroll forward 10 years, you've made obviously more film. Does it feel the same way?
This was ideal. It was so much fun to do. It's rare that you have fun making movies. It's a fucked up job. It's a living society. I have a rule that I say, if by the third week, I say there's always an asshole in a movie. If by the third week you haven't met the asshole, it's you.
Wow. Wow. Amazing.
Playing with good toys, having fun, great cast, and it is still one of perhaps the most pleasant experience.
Yeah, you said it was the most complex, it was also the most joyous film that you got to make.
I mean, I cannot say numbers, when I say numbers sound ridiculously big, but to give you an example, a franchise movie like the Harry Potter, they were costing around 270 million. You know, we costed so much less, and we were trying to keep it big, so we recycled all the streets in Hong Kong. We built the set so that if I shoot that way, it was one street. If I shoot that way, it's another street. And I can leave 2 weeks, take out the signs, and it's another street. So we were very Mexican about it.
Earlier filmmaking into this, and it's exactly that. It's not just, you start with the mechanisms in Kronos, we see it here, the aesthetics there, but then also the way that you conceive and the way that you make. That's kind of worked your way all throughout your career.
You have to, because no matter how big the budget, your ambition should be more. You should never measure yourself by the budget, which is what I say about calories. The ambition was to make it a giant, exorbitantly extravagant, crazy movie. Travis wrote a couple of great applause moments, the sword.
For the rest of my life, I don't know that I'm going to write a better applause moment than that. It just warms my heart every time. Because every screening I've seen, no matter how quiet, no matter how small, no matter whatever, that moment gets some applause.
And it was great to taste a movie like that. We use miniatures. A lot of people think everything is digital, but we actually build miniatures to destroy. Like when the fist goes into the office, that's a giant miniature of an office. And we really destroy it with miniature papers, miniature cups of coffee.
What the? Whoa, that's amazing.
We started for real. And landing on the stadium. And we built the stadium with the seating and blew it up.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, and everything shows, everything you're talking about is on the screen. That's the period. I'm watching it again today, in particular with this audience, but watching it today, it feels like a joyous experience. The politics, I guess, or absence of politics comes through. And the enduring nature of this film comes in the human approach. Yeah. And it touches and informs every single frame within the film, but then also like the grandiosity that you work with, your vision, your scale, it's all there on the screen.
So I wanted, because I've seen everything in Tokusatsu, and I've seen everything in the universe of TV series and movies, and I wanted to do things that I hadn't seen, and one of the things I wanted was a monster crashing through a parking garage and see all the little cars. or then hitting, if you watch it again, hitting with a container and a bunch of motorcycles come out. or refrigerators or TVs. I wanted to do and when you do a movie like this, what is really hard to imagine is you have to design from the badges, the key rings, the holders, the pencils, all the way to the robots really working. Because one of the decisions I made briefly is the robots are going to have exposed mechanisms. We're going to see the pistons and the joints. And you have to, there's a thing called material penetration. If the robot raises an arm, you have to make sure this shield doesn't penetrate there, and you don't cheat. You shouldn't cheat. So solving the engineering of all the robots, of all the shadow, how do they get them from here to there? We build real vehicles, and all of that, for me, is Thunderbirds. Yeah. All of that comes from Thunderbirds.
That's awesome.
Barry Anderson's, who has one of the most exquisite design sensibilities, those series, Space 1999, UFO, Captain Scarlet, they were my bread and butter as a kid. And they always solved the palm trees getting down, we wanted all that. How do they get them into the water? How do they transport them? We solved everything, but you have to solve it from engineering. ILM, they wanted to do everything as scientifically as possible. The only thing we completely cheated is if you got that deep underwater, there's no color. And we needed a little bit of color.
What I love about it is the use of color. Because I remember the first screening that I went to, and at the time movies like this, these big sort of big they all had the same sort of washed out kind of look that you saw over and over again. What I was so struck by when I first watched the screen was how vivid and colorful it was, and like how just like the sword moment and the golden light like splashing off of them. It's just every frame, even the frames where it's like gory, disastrous stuff is happening, are so eye-poppingly colorful.
But the blood is goes in the eye.
Yeah.
No, this is the movie where I went digital. I had shot on film before this, and what I've seen is that when you were, like we did 3 scenes on Blade 2, where we could do color timing on digital. It was so expensive, we couldn't do it. And then I color timed Hellboy 2, completely on digital. And I saw how much you could push what was in the negative. And then I knew that some of the primary colors, I could push more if they were native digital. So I spoke with my DP, who had done all my movies until then almost. And we had done Panzarin, there was Background, everything. And I said, should we do all digital to push the colors? And we did. We did all that and lived with LEDs and changed the way we approached the image to make it like a comic book. And you printed a comic book or an animation, a piece of animation.
I remember one of the screens I sat in on, I think it was a color grading or a color review, and I learned 2 things on that day just from listening to you. The blacks needed to be crunched, and magentas bad.
I'm allergic to magenta.
Well, I will say this, the film, there was nothing like it that preceded it. There's been nothing like it since. It's an absolute fever dream. It plays today, again, today.
They should re-release this fucker.
Yeah! Woo!
But I have to say, it is, we talk about the joy that you've had making this film. It has been nothing but a joy to follow your career, to follow your work, to sit here and seriously and sincerely, thank you so much for everything that you do.
Father, daughter,
Right.
warring scientist, best friends, but then you have the only other besides father-daughter, like this male-female relationship, and it's really important that at the end they don't have to kiss.
Yeah,
It's really important.
platonic example of like a non-toxic sort of male-female.
Yeah, they might be really compatible emotionally,
They are
mentally.
just compatible.
They're just
They are
compatible,
compatible.
but that does not mean they have to kiss.
Well, also it's like, years down the line maybe, but they just met each other, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
That
makes
true.
logical
Who
sense.
knows?
Yeah. That's true, baby. Yeah.
That's how you know it's really a movie.
Yeah.
Sleeves.
Oh, wow!
I hate these guys.
No, that's great!
And then at another convention, my friend was nude, and then I
That's fantastic!
like this
Oh,
was
yeah.
this was a huge deal, like in
Oh, no.
college
That's,
friend group and everything.
I
It was
love
like,
that. I love that.
Seems
Thank
like
you so
only
much for
yesterday.
showing
So,
that.
are you kidding me? That was amazing. Man. We couldn't pass it up.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries. No worries at all.
Thank you so much.
Hell yeah. See.
In the blue? Or?
Yeah, the blue for sure. Just
Well, you-
have to go wherever you
Armor.
want.
The
You can
armor.
do whatever
You
you
wrote
want.
it, yeah. There you go. So much fun. Bye-bye. Gracias. Gracias, Guillermo. Gracias. Gracias.
Wonderful
You're a legend. Gracias.
Have a good night.
Good night. Woo! That's a legend right there.
He did both.
Dude, well, how cool was that?
That was
That amazing?
That was Guillermo,
That was
baby.
amazing.
That was
Guillermo
Guillermo,
Del
and that's
Toro.
how wonderful of a human being
Seriously,
he
look
is.
at that. Beautiful signature on the Pacific Rim.
See, I told you the white.
Crimson Peak.
Told you the
Yep,
white.
they got the writer too. Sick.
See the
Nice.
Show him the other one. Show him the other one.
Crimson Peak.
yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
hold that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
I
it
love his
goes.
penmanship.
What did he say?
Nice.
Oh, I mean, he just wanted to sign it in the inside. I was like, okay.
All right.
But did he say anything? Oh, Crimson Peak. Oh,
No. I mean, I think he's tired. Man.
Yeah,
It was literally the last.
But he signed
person.
everybody though. He's literally signed everybody. He signed everybody.
everybody.
Everybody. Dude, Guillermo's a legend, bro. He signed everybody. Yeah, an hour afterwards.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, show this.
Hour and 20.
Show
Wow.
Look at that thing.
That right there too. Boom. And Lauren's shirt.
Yeah. Hello.
Crimson Peak was good.
Did you have a figure right here?
Yeah, and I have my little figure of Thomas from the movie.
Boom.
Much better than anybody else.
Check Weapon Next video. Got his haul.
Most of the ones that I have, like,
Range
mine
Duncan.
up there,
Watch his haul.
you can read it.
Like, you happy?
Exactly.
Oh, very happy.
Happy?
This is happy.
Happy wedding!
We did it.
So much, everybody.
Yes.